Well, what did we learn yesterday? Capitol Hill is in a panic. Good. Very good. A shocking story about Tulsi Gabbard's background that doesn't make her look bad whatsoever. What she's actually gone through should tell you everything about the swamp in Washington, D.C., and how she's going to play a huge part in cleaning it up. We'll get to those stories in a little bit, but I found this interesting, too. Do we still give money to Hollywood entertainers that absolutely hate us? And I mean hate us. Like as a country or just anybody that goes against the grain, because apparently the girl that plays the new Snow White is back in trouble again for a controversial post. How'd you like to be Bob Iger hearing that this morning? That's going on too. And another sociological study, you know I love those, about how many friends you should have. Guys, stop worrying about how many friends you have, please. We'll get to all that stuff and more. But first of all, welcome here. Thanks for finding Wicked Radio. No technical problems today. We're off and running. Thanks for finding it. Audio podcast, too, as well, wherever you get those. And the replay on here on X and on YouTube and all that good stuff. But let's get to the stuff. Well, more controversial picks for the incoming Trump administration. Now, not all of them are going to be confirmed. There's already some, controversy over that. And there's some Republican senators saying they're not going to confirm some of the picks. What I love, and maybe you're in the same boat, is how entertaining this is. It's like a civics lesson for all of us. I said it yesterday, and I think it's a relevant question. When was the last time, if ever, you were actually entertained and excited about some of the names being put out there, being nominated for very important administration picks? I had like alerts on yesterday on my phone. I'm like, oh, he picked it. Oh, that's a good one too. I mean, we're talking about administration, Washington picks, guys. And this is actually entertaining. Well, how's the reaction going in D.C. so far? This I love so much. This is such good news. Let's go to NBC News. Kristen Welker talking to the field reporter on Capitol Hill. How's it going so far?
At this point, what's the buzz on the Hill right now?
Well, I mean, I hope you don't forgive me for saying this, Kristen, but the general vibe on the Hill right now is WTF. People are shocked at the news of Gaetz, especially. I feel like I couldn't even get around to getting reaction on Tulsi Gabbard when this pick of Gaetz came down the pike. Senators, Republican lawmakers even, one of them in a closed-door meeting said, oh, my God.
This is so good. I don't know. He's the one that apparently faces the biggest uphill challenge in getting confirmed. Matt Gaetz from Florida congressman. I'm down here, and I've actually interviewed him before, and so I'm familiar with him. He's the guy, if you don't know, that led the charge in the House to get rid of Speaker McCarthy. He hated him. He hates that guy. McCarthy hates him. He faced some controversial charges before about, I don't know, some dirt was thrown on him about a sex trafficking thing that turned out to be nothing. It's completely dropped. Despite the headlines, he is totally, completely MAGA. He won't put up with anything. That's why. And then this is the thing, too. He may face more controversy on the Republican side of things than he even does on the Democrat side. Now, policies, sure. He's very much in favor of cleaning up the deep state. Sure, absolutely. But guy's not afraid. The guy's not afraid to speak his mind. Here's an interview with Matt Gaetz over some other controversial comments he had made about some of the women's rights marches.
Is it safe to say that based off of your comments, you're suggesting that these women at these abortion rallies are ugly and overweight?
Yes.
What do you say to people who think that those comments are offensive?
Be offended.
Now, you hear that. Do you think that guy's going to worry about what they say about him? You think he's going to worry about his image as he tries to clean up the deep state as Attorney General, the top cop in all the land? I am so hoping for this. Because honestly, even if you don't like the guy personally, and there are a lot of Republicans that don't like the guy, Democrats hate him too, whatever. He loves this country, and he hates corruption. That much we know. Amazingly entertaining pick. Before that had actually come out, I mean like minutes before, the first post that came from President-elect Trump was about Tulsi Gabbard. I'm a huge fan of Tulsi Gabbard, just her entire story. And if you don't know her story, really American hero. Yeah, some people don't trust her because she came from the Democratic side of things, and she was the crown jewel of the Democrats. Believe me, she was like the future of the Democrat Party. They loved her. They promoted her as much as they possibly could when she was in Congress. But she looked at what the Democrats had become, all of the hypocrisy, the extremism, going way off the deep end, forgetting just leaving the working class in the dust. So she left. Well, then she became public enemy number one of what used to be her own party. She has served in the military her entire life. She's served in Congress. She's an author. She's a speaker. She's done all kinds of volunteer things for vets. She's an amazing person. But because of all of this, here's a story you may not have ever heard about her. And by the way, her official nomination is for Director of National Intelligence, which is another just great thing if she's in charge of this and gets confirmed. Because when the Democrats turned on her, they actually put her, soldier, hero, congresswoman, they put her on a terror watch list, a fly list, to monitor her every time, just to harass her and just to make her pay the price for going against the grain, going anti-establishment, on a watch list. Whistleblowers came out and confirmed this last year. I don't know if you've ever heard this story, but she tells it herself. This is unbelievable. And keep in mind, now this is probably going to be the person cleaning up the corruption of the deep state and the intelligence community. The same community that put her on a watch list.
Every time this happened, we were told by the TSA agent there, this is just a random selection. Now, that might have been believable if it had happened just once or twice, but 5, 6, 7, 8 times in a row, there's no way. On August 4th, Federal Air Marshal whistleblowers came forward with very disturbing information. They revealed that I had been added to a secret terror watch list run by the TSA called Quiet Skies.
Her, of all people, her. So what she's saying, her and her husband, every time they took a flight, back home to Hawaii, back to D.C., other engagements, speaking events, whatever it was, a lot of commercial flights, every single time. Getting on the plane at the gate, searched. Getting off the plane, searched. Thank God for these whistleblowers to talk about what she actually went through. And this actually happened. And now, in the irony of ironies and the most beautiful part of this is the person that's going to be in charge of getting that kind of corruption and tyranny out of the intelligence community. I think maybe of all the picks, besides what RFK Jr. winds up being, which I think is going to be health, that's the one I'm rooting for the most. I absolutely love that's coming full circle. And if you want to know, going back to that first story we had about why Capitol Hill is just shocked, they're not shocked. They're panicked because they're going to be number one out of jobs. They got the DOGE, the Department of Government Efficiency, is going to clean house. There's going to be a lot of very fancy homes in Northern Virginia up for sale because all of the useless, unelected bureaucrats, all the fat in D.C. is going to be cut at least in half, and that's a good thing. But also, all the people in charge of doing dirty deeds like that, like putting Tulsi Gabbard on a watch list, they're going away, and that's such a great thing. Maybe they're just going away out of work. They may be going to jail. Who the heck knows? That's amazing. All right, we'll get to one other big story that happened yesterday before we get to some of the other fun stuff. Trump was back in D.C. yesterday, the triumphant return as Trump Force One landed. And he went right to the White House and he met with Joe Biden. Question for you, is it just me? Or if you saw any news clips from this thing, did Joe Biden look like he was the happiest he's probably ever been? Or at least what he remembers? That guy was relaxed, he was cool, he was confident, and I have to say, as many nasty, nasty things over the past 4.5 years I've said about Joe Biden, he was a very gracious host yesterday, I gotta say. And Trump was too. For all this talk of, it's going to be terrible, Trump's going to sit down right next to him and he's going to threaten him and he's going to throw him out and he's going to tell him he's going to be in jail. No, not that stuff doesn't happen. It was a very nice, cordial meeting. Sounded like this.
Elect and former president. Thank you. Donald, congratulations. Thank you. And looking forward to having like we said, a smooth transition. Do everything we can to make sure you're accommodated, what you need.
Again, I look at Biden there when Trump's talking, and he's sitting there and he's just smiling. I don't know. I mean, I thought maybe it was possible before because we all know about the fight, the infighting between the Harris team and the Biden team, and when it was basically a soft coup. They pushed Joe down the proverbial stairs to get him out of the way, and then he endorsed her late and blah, 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 whatever it was. I swear to God, I think the Bidens voted for Trump. I swear to you. Remember Jill walked out of the voting place in that bright red dress? That was a sign. I mean, come on. Biden is he's going off into the sunset or the beach in Delaware, and he's just knowing he took one last shot and he exerted his power one last time. Now, the crappy part of this is, now that they're all nicey-nicey, right? Let's not forget this. We shouldn't forgive him of all sins. How many times over the past 4 years did they make Joe, and he agreed to do it, call Trump Hitler, right? The big threat to democracy speech, and they kept on throwing that out there time and time and time again when he was still candidate Joe. Remember that? So now that they're all nicey-nicey, does a guy that you call Hitler, do you invite him to the White House and make nicey-nice? No. So what's the takeaway on that? It was all crap the whole time. You and I knew it. Common sense people knew it, but now the whole world knows it. What are you going to... Oh, by the way, okay, so, for Thanksgiving coming up here, and you've got a relative saying, "Oh, I can't believe you voted for that Hitler." Here's a great line. Here's a great comeback on that. This event just gave us. Really? Trump is Hitler? Really? Then why did Biden invite him to the White House? Would you invite Hitler to the White House? And then just leave it at that and go back to your mashed potatoes. But I'm glad it went well. Glad it went well yesterday. All right, well, this popped up from entertainment. Here's the takeaway. Stop giving money to entertainers that hate you. And I do mean hate you. So Disney is banking on the new Snow White live-action remake to bring back their movie business. They have a lot staked on this. It was supposed to come out last year, but they re-edited the whole thing, and they came out with some controversy with their stars playing Snow White, Rachel Zegler. Well, she's in hot water again. Now, she originally had said... a bunch of woke stuff, whatever. Who cares about that, whatever. But she had said that, this is not like the original Snow White in the 30s, and the Snow White doesn't need a man, and she's not dependent on the prince. Or, one thing, whatever. It kind of upset the original hardcore Disney fans, not the woke ones. So a little bit of controversy that, and they kind of got her to pipe down. Well, then the election happened. Oh, boy. Well, first of all, she posts this. And how'd you like to be Bob Iger this morning dealing with this, by the way? This another PR nightmare with their star on a movie that they're dealing with. She posts this post-election. It's long. I won't read the whole thing. I find myself speechless in the midst of this. Another 4 years of hatred, leaning us towards a world I do not want to live in. Oh, that's heavy. Towards a world that will be hard to raise my daughter in. A world that'll force her to have a baby she doesn't want. Leaning to... Okay, blah, 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 blah. I shouldn't be shocked by this, but I am, blah, blah, blah. I'm heartbroken for all my friends awake that... Blah, 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 blah. Here's the meat of the matter. Final paragraph of the long post, which I think was on Instagram. Rachel Zegler says, I echo Ethel Kane's statement more than anything. May Trump supporters and Trump voters and Trump himself never know peace. Well, it's a pretty hateful statement. Never already seen it another way. Well, she didn't say that herself. She's just echoing the authors. You reposted it. You said you echoed it. It's a hateful statement. Whatever. Well, here's the thing. When she was talking about the non-woke stuff, here's a quote from her before, and it's interesting what she says at the end. This is a pieced-together clip. But listen to what she says at the end. Clueless Hollywood has not really learned its lesson.
Of an amazing all-star cast that is mostly people of color, different gender identities, sexualities, from different countries, creeds. You name it, we've got it. Okay. We represent what this world looks like, despite what the news may have us think.
And if you disagree with this sentiment, just hit the unfollow button. I don't need your business.
But here's the thing. You do need my business. You really do. Because I'm a dad of two daughters. I've spent a lot of money on Disney movies, Disney tickets, Disney trips, Disney merchandise. You may not need our money. Let me tell you something. Your parent company does. Your bosses do. Disney needs our money very, very badly. And they're banking on this movie to do well and get them out of the doldrums from the movie business because they have been struggling. A lot of them have been bombs. You don't think you need our business, but you really do when it comes down to it. Because if anything, yeah, Disney may have a social agenda. Maybe. I get that, whatever. The only real agenda a company like Disney, and especially Disney, has is money. That's the culture. That's the agenda. That's what's most important. When you cut that away, as a lot of people have, remember the controversy that DeSantis in Florida had, the big fight with them about woke Disney. Remember all that and how it hurt them. Again, how would you like to be Disney bosses dealing with your main star that you're banking on saying this? Why does she even have to say this? What she doesn't realize is a lot of us have found peace. If you did happen to have a different political opinion than her divisive comments, I got to tell you, a lot of people I know that voted not her way have found a lot of peace over the past week. Like a lot. And also there's a realization that we don't have to spend money anymore and give it to companies that really don't like us. And maybe Disney doesn't feel that way, but their main star does, because I will tell you that's a pretty divisive, hateful comment. So, sorry, Rachel, I don't have to give you any money. And you had said right there before, you don't need my money, so okay, we'll see how it all goes. When we thought that last week, remember after the election, well, maybe Hollywood has learned its lesson this time. No, they haven't. They absolutely haven't, because they're clueless and they live in a bubble and they don't understand. And that's fine. She doesn't need our money, guys. She said it herself. All right, let's wrap it up with one of our sociological studies that I love so much. This comes from something called Talker Research. Don't know exactly who they are. Maybe it's a talk radio industry thing. I'm not too sure, but they came out with this, and it says the average American man has 8 friends. Total. 8. Okay? Including 5 general friends, 3 close friends, and 2 best friends. And they spend an average of 4 hours connecting with friends every single week. And then they got a bunch of opinions and what they consider a friend and all this other crap. All right, that's enough of that. Here's the bottom line. They always, even though I love these sociological studies, because I love to see what's going on in society, of all of them, they always come out with the friends lists and studies. Somewhere along the line, we got it into our heads that you have to have a certain number of friends, and you have to collect as many as you possibly can, and you got to loosen up the definition of what a friend is, because according to studies like this, it's all about quantity and not quality. Stop stressing out about how many friends you have, because it is more about quality than it is. Don't worry about this kind of crap. Just wherever you go in every phase of life, collect the quality people, wherever it is. High school, college, first job, second job, third job, social clubs, whatever. There's always going to be a limited number of the really cool people. Those are the only ones you have to worry about. If I was to give you any advice, and especially to my fellow guy friends, real friends, get the good people and hold on to them. Everybody else, don't worry about it. And even if that comes down to, by the way, just one really good friend, if you're in that situation, you've hit the lottery, because that's a great thing. Don't listen to studies like that, even though I'm the guy that just brought it up, but I only brought it up for a point. Don't worry about that. It's about quality. All right. Tomorrow's going to be what, Friday? Really? Done with this week already? How many more amazing Capitol Hill picks are coming out today? I can't wait for more panic. This is outstanding. I've never been excited about administration picks, but more will be coming out today. We'll talk about that. We'll have some entertainment stuff to talk about for tomorrow, too. And more importantly, our takeaway, do not give money to entertainers that hate you, like Snow White. And the second takeaway, as always, don't take any crap from anybody. Thanks for finding Wicked Radio. The replay will live on here, as well as the audio podcast will get posted in about a half hour. Thanks for finding that as well. Have an awesome, wicked awesome day. With all that said, we'll talk to you tomorrow.